Welcome back to my channel, you guys. So today I am not doing a sweet recipe. I am actually going to be showing you guys my favorite way of cooking chicken thighs. These are boneless chicken thighs. I buy them already boneless, but if you can't find the boneless ones, or I know they're a little bit pricier, you can just buy chicken thighs and just take them off the bone. And what I've done is I've cut them into pieces. I've cleaned most of the fat off because they do sometimes come kind of fatty, and I like to have them as clean as possible. There's still a little bit of fat on them, but that's fine. That means flavor. And I cut them up in even sized pieces. So this is super easy. This is about a pound of this chicken already cut up. This is gonna be enough for like 2 people, depending on how much you eat. A lot of times I'll have leftovers and then my husband will eat them for lunch the next day. So let me show you how we're gonna flavor this, these thighs. And you can also use chicken breast if you'd like. I find the thigh, the dark meat, much more flavorful. So what I have here are just a couple of spices. I have salt. I also have some garlic powder, some onion powder, cumin. I have turmeric. I have a little bit of ginger and a little bit of cinnamon. And the cinnamon is gonna give it a little bit of, tiny bit of sweetness in the background, but it's not like, unless you know that you're putting the cinnamon in, whoever's eating it does not know that it's cinnamon. It just really gives it a really nice backdrop, sweet taste without having to use sugar. And it kind of reminds me of the chicken that you buy at the malls. I don't know, I haven't had that in a while, but when you go to most malls, they have usually a stand where they sell you, bourbon chicken, or I think they call it bourbon chicken, or Asian style chicken. So this is my take on that, and I've been making chicken like this for years. It's really easy and it's tasteful, and you can pair it with rice, or you can just eat it alone with veggies, however you'd like. So let me show you. We're also going to be using some lemon, very important. And this right here, this is like an addition to this recipe or chicken. I can't even call it a recipe because it's hard for me to measure out when I'm cooking spices. I just throw them all in there, but I'm doing it for you guys, only for you guys. This right here is from Trader Joe's. I don't know if they have it all the time, but I have seen it for a while now. It's called Unami seasoning blend. It's multi-purpose. You can put it on everything. It's I can't describe the taste of it. It doesn't taste like mushrooms. It says mushroom. It does have, different mushrooms in here. Mushroom powder, crushed red pepper, black pepper, dried thyme. But it is just, it's a really fine seasoning, and it just gives it this flavor, almost, in my opinion, what MSG tastes like, that they put in the takeout chicken that's similar to this, but it's not harmful for you. So that's the reason why I use it. Just gives it extra flavor. So we're gonna use a little bit of that. We're also gonna be using coconut aminos, and this is a soy sauce replacement. If you are okay with using soy sauce and you're okay with soy products, you can use soy sauce. This is pretty close to soy sauce, and but it's soy free. And it also gives it a little bit of sweetness. I'm almost out. I have to buy some more. We're gonna also be using some natural garlic. This is just garlic paste. I buy garlic in bulk, and I process it in my food processor with a little bit of olive oil, and I keep it in this jar in the fridge, and it literally lasts me for months. It's the best way. And then I always have garlic at hand, so we'll be using that as well. And so this is the board that I used to clean the chicken. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put the seasonings, because we're gonna just cover this chicken with the seasonings. This may look like a lot, you guys, but I don't know about you guys, but I like my food, my chicken or my meat, whatever, to taste good, to be seasoned, okay? So it may seem like a lot, but it's really great flavors, and it already smells great. I'm using a spoon, but I know at some point I'm gonna have to use my hands, but the spoon kind of helps. And I'm just using the same board that I used to cut the chicken. I really like the turmeric powder because I'm just using a tiny bit. I just used a tiny bit, but I love the color that it gives, and it's good for you. And as always, the recipe and the amount I'm using here today, as well as the instructions, are gonna be under the description of this video. I don't even know if you guys need that, but I think it probably will be helpful. I don't think when I'm baking, I think a lot about measurements, but when I'm cooking, I really don't. I'm just throwing things in there and not thinking about measuring it. It's more forgiving, right? Cooking than baking. So pretty much looks like all of my chicken is coated. And you don't really have to season this like a day in advance, but if you have the time and you remember that you want to do this and you want to leave it, you can leave it overnight. The flavor will just be more powerful or stronger, but you don't really have to. I generally do this and then just like maybe 30 minutes and I cook it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and transfer the chicken into a plate so that I can add my lemon juice so that it doesn't run everywhere. Okay, so I just put my seasoned chicken in a clean plate, and I'm gonna go ahead and add this. I didn't add it to the rest of the seasoning because I just really, I don't know why. I like to sprinkle it on top, because if you use too much of it, then it could be overpowering. So for some reason, I feel like I can eyeball it better if I just sprinkle a little bit on top. So that was maybe about I want to say an eighth or a quarter of a teaspoon. So the first time you use it, if you do have this, if you have a Trader Joe's around you, you can get it. Use a small amount of it so you can get the idea of what it tastes like. But what I've noticed is, since I've used it for a while, I really like the taste of it, so I use more. But this is already flavored with different things, so I just want to kind of give it a little bit of extra seasoning, like as a background, and that's why I put in that as well. If you don't have that, you can omit it. It'll still be delicious, okay? So I have this big lemon here that I already took a wedge off. I'm gonna do another wedge here. And this lemon is pretty juicy. So I'm just gonna kind of measure it. This looks like about a tablespoon. This is a tablespoon, and we will use more. I like to use a lot of lemon when it comes to chicken, especially the chicken thigh. It just complements it really well. If you don't have the lemon, you can use limes, you know, the green ones. It's a little bit of a different flavor profile because lemon seems to be more subtle than lime, okay? But that's an option as well. But don't leave the lemon out. Okay, and now I'm gonna add some of this garlic. Excuse me, I am gonna need a spoon. All right, clean spoon. Let me show you what it looks like, and it smells amazing. I'm gonna use, this is about a tablespoon of it. You can use as much garlic as you want. I love garlic, so I'm gonna leave that up to you. That's gonna be up to you, as much garlic as you like. And just kind of coat it in there. Oh my God, this smells so good. All right, now this right here, I'm not gonna add it right now because I want to be able to sear my chicken. I don't want the chicken to, when I put it in the pan, to start steaming. And the more liquid in here, you know, at the beginning of the cooking, the harder it's gonna be for the chicken to sear and get that nice crusty color. But we will use this a little bit later on, so stay tuned so you can see how that works. You can totally, if you guys want, you can add a little bit of honey as well. I mean, some brown sugar substitute if you want something sweeter. This is just like my go-to recipe, and it's honestly comes together super quick. So now what I'm gonna do, got all my seasonings in there that I need for now. I'm gonna go ahead and take it over to the stove top and show you how I cook it. Okay. So we are now at the stove top. I have this large non-stick skillet. You can use I like using a non-stick skillet for things like this, but if you have like a cast iron skillet, it's also it's gonna really help with the crusting of the chicken and just giving it that nice caramelly color. You are gonna have to use a lower heat if you use the cast iron because it gets heated very quickly. But today I'm using this nonstick. So if you have a nonstick, this is fine. And I've put a little bit of avocado oil. You can use whatever oil you have. Some people like to use some light olive oil. So an oil that does not have a lot of flavor, okay? Just because we're not trying to flavor this chicken, it has its own flavor. So avocado oil to me is perfect. And we'll use that today. So we're just waiting for this to heat up a little bit. I have it on a high setting on the high, but I can feel that it's getting pretty hot, and you want it to be hot because you want it to sear. Now the important thing, this is something that you don't want to skip, so listen up. You see all this chicken, we don't just want to dump all the chicken at once in the pan, because we don't want, if we put too much chicken and there's not enough, it's too crowded, there's not enough surface for the chicken to actually sear or to get that nice golden crust that we want, okay? So we're gonna do it in batches. We're gonna do half, and I'll show you how it works, okay? And don't skip this step, trust me. So we're gonna go ahead and start out with half of our chicken. I've separated it in equal amounts. And my pan is hot enough now that as soon as I put my chicken in there, it's gonna sizzle, and that's what you want. You can see the oil sizzling. And spread the chicken around the pan so that they're not like sticking together. Like I said, we don't want the chicken to steam because it will not taste the same. It'll taste boiled, and you don't want that. So here I still have my heat from high to initially high, and then I lower it down a little bit as it starts cooking. And you're just gonna saute the chicken is basically what we're doing. And here you can see it's already gotten some color. It's not cooked all the way, which is fine. You don't want to cook it all the way, and I'll show you why here in a minute. And so I'm transferring that first half of the chicken that I sauteed into a clean plate. We're going to put the skillet back on the stove at the same heat, and we're going to add another tablespoon of avocado oil. And now we're going to cook our second half of the chicken, doing the same exact thing. You're going to want to separate the pieces of chicken so they can sear and cook evenly. And again, we're just looking to cook this not all the way through, but just enough. There we go. So that has cooked as well, and now all I'm doing is I am adding back into that pan the first half of the chicken that I seared. So because these are small pieces, relatively, it's not like a whole chicken piece, breast or thigh, it's going to cook very quickly from here. So you're just gonna move it around so that you get all of the pieces of chicken evenly cooked. And at this point is when I'm going to add my coconut aminos or soy sauce if you're using soy sauce. And here you're going to see me add 1 tablespoon, but I ended up adding 2 tablespoons to the entire recipe. And I'll add that onto the ingredients. So my heat is still on high, and I'm going to lower it a little bit to medium. And I'm going to also add another squeeze of lemon juice. So about another tablespoon. And so this kind of makes like a little sauce. There I am lowering the heat. It makes like a little sauce. So the chicken's not gonna be completely dry. And I love it. You can add a little bit more of the coconut aminos if you want, or a little bit of water. And now all I'm doing is I changed to a clean spatula, because now the chicken is going to be completely cooked. It's almost completely cooked, so all I'm doing is making sure that the sauce that I added in there and the lemon juice is covering all of the chicken. And that's it. It's pretty much done at this point. So I'm gonna turn off the heat. And if you're not gonna serve it right away, you can go ahead and put your top on it or cover it to keep it warm. So you can just serve it right from here. Delicious, you guys. I really hope you try this recipe. I finished it off with a little bit of cilantro. And let me know in the comments below if you do. Thanks for watching.